Ready to launch.
Okay.
Here I go. Drasala. Good. Kirishute, Tome! Good. Good.
There! Preparations complete.
Okay.
Drasala. I love it. Here I go. Kirishute, Tome! How fun. Good.
Much appreciated. Everyone! You got it! Preparations complete!
Here goes! Stun beat blow!
Icicle Rod!
Here goes! Stun beat blow!
Glad.
Poison ivy!
Glad. I'm sorry. Everyone!
Agency. We arranged this interview because your application was the closest to getting the means. In the end, it came down to this one question right here. Have you ever been which you responded to with a resounding maybe. I actually think your application and will try to way of reading it. Then I read the other applications and I realized that yours was the closest I get to a yes. I have no idea what maybe means. So let me give you a speaker. In the late 80s, a string of disappearances took place in Lake Valley, New Mexico. I've been trying to figure out what I have.
There! Great!
The thread connecting all is the ERP. I can tell that maybe this thing is thing wide open. It's just and it's
There!
there.
Ready to go!
Nice swoop at their own moments. Then they were drunk out.
Here goes! Stun beat blow!
Here I go. Drasala.
Prepare yourself, poison ivy!
Please. Tell me that they
Kirishute, Tome! Fire!
Their shoes. Choose which are the first steps of the game into the picture.
Here I go. Kirishuten, Tomei!
These together cause memories that seems to be individual every then even start making
Please.
Here I come! Sticker blade!
Here it comes! Royal Nut!
Again, by interacting with some terrifying from the game. That's got the game
Please.
Heck yeah!
Strange about the
Here I go! Frost No! I love it.
Standing in the entrance to this array of sights, sounds,
Much appreciated.
it's we just imagine words.
Wow.
Serves with the array of
There.
They see. Looks like we get faces in the screen. You hear it's horrible. That's this
You got it.
space.
Ready to launch.
This is exactly why you're here. A military escape. There's evidence in school progress from obligation itself. Enjoy things breeds forming your skin. But there's also children. And standing together though is very important. It's sort of like
Please.
it also makes her hair sing low. That's for a long rapid attention for a people. Maintenance.
Here I go. Frost I love it.
Prepare yourself, poison ivy!
Scolded by your parents, fights with friends, and the cold feeling
Take
of being
this.
There, hiding just behind the pleasant aromas of sweet treats and fond memories, there's a musty stench, like a wet basement or a towel that never fully dried. The land offers up a memory of youth that's tainted against
Sticker blade!
No!
prison loops reflecting past pains. A group of school children bump into you, running towards the sign labeled Paradise Playrooms. Their beleaguered teacher hurriedly follows along, trying to keep up. The kids that passed, so beautiful. All around you, you can children playing, conversing, almost overwhelming walls
Do
of
it.
posters from the city. Somehow, above it all, there's laughter. An uproar so loud. It
Okay.
makes you want to slap your hands. So, but
Here I go.
you like to laugh like that too. All you have to do is pick a ride. Snowland played host to a variety of attractions. First, there were the aforementioned Paradise Playrooms. While the playrooms were intended to function as an alternative to daycare, children seemed as content to be there as they were to visit any of the other attractions in the park. Kids had so much fun in the maze
Are you
that they
okay?
would often become
My
lost
thanks.
for hours on end, which, surprisingly, left parents unworried. The parents were usually way into one of the other attractions in the park, such as the Skyliner, a giant spire extending up, seemingly into eternity.
Okay.
Guests would board the ride before being slingshotted up into endless blue. Despite its gargantuan size, it was often overshadowed by attractions such as the Hall of Walls, just past the centrifuge,
Poison
800,000 square feet of continuous gray walls form the world's premier escape experience. Guests were placed deep in a monolithic maze and tasked with locating one of 7 unique exits to the megastructure. Keep in mind, only one of these exits is actually operable on any given day, so each experience in the hall is equally and uniquely unpleasant. rarely did the attractions at Liminal Land deliver so clearly on the park's promise that you'll lose yourself.
Wow.
So, anything seem familiar yet? Nothing else, huh? Well, maybe something else to spark your memory. There are still plenty of other popular attractions. The park was intended to compete directly with Disneyland. Did a pretty good job of it too during the 80s. The first guests at Liminal Land entered the park with some idea of what they were getting into. Coasters, kiddie rides, fun day with family. But Liminal Land wasn't content to leave guests satisfied. To be a real contender in the market, they needed to really wow visitors. But before you can exceed expectations, you first have to meet them. Give the people what they think they want, and give them more than they ever bargained for. So,
Understood.
there were several truly unique experiences at Liminal Land. There were also several tradition rides. Don't worry though, each one puts its own spin on tradition. Take, for example, Serpentine, a steel coaster that was built from old metal tubing. This ride's hot new feature was gross negligence. Yeah, it seems from reports the ride was quite literally on the brink of falling apart or falling over due to the shoddy construction. Also, though, some people reported that it gave the ride the sense that it was alive. Right? Something as dumb as a living amusement park. A successful attempt to build on tradition was with the laugh track. This ride resulted from decades of research into forced laughter. Every seat on the laugh track was equipped with a compression band that would squeeze the rider's chest at regular intervals. Repeated compression induced a state of euphoria through violent involuntary laughter and was supposed to heighten the experience of the ride. Apparently it worked, because the ride managed to become one of Liminal Land's most popular attractions, rising to the top alongside more novel experiences like Hall of Walls and Subliminal Land. Subliminal Land was arguably the most impressive attraction in the entire park. 36 levels of interconnected water parks. Could you imagine? The park advertised itself as underneath your feet. Parkgoers seem to agree that it lived up to the hype, as, just like our world, much of Subliminal Land was ever produced. As you went down through the levels, they became progressively larger, while the upper levels of the attraction only consisted of a handful. By the time you reached floor 9, the levels could be as large as a full water park. So, those were still considered to be part of the hospitality sector, a region of Subliminal Land where park staff was nearby and eager to help. Lots of families traveled to these floors and had a fun time splashing around with each other. However, if you were looking for a truly unique experience, you had to go deeper. Starting on floor 10, massive jump in square footage. Levels 10 to 36 were known as the Serenity Floor, and it was hard to build. The sheer size of the space, even promotional materials specifically warned you not to travel to these levels if you were prone to autophobia, the fear of being alone. Virtually no one entered the lower levels due to their scale, but there were some interesting sights to see, such as the neon bullrings on level 14, or this horrific living fish thing from floor 27. The lowest level of Subliminal Land is by far the most significant, but also the most mysterious. We know that it was repurposed from the bones of an older facility, but I'll save that for later in my investigation notes. Just know that I'm totally convinced that Subliminal Land is much more important than our available accounts suggest. I might not have the evidence to back it up, but to trust the hunch every now and then. Still nothing. It's fine. That's it. Beating yourself up over it. Let's just keep moving. There's still a few more attractions a kid like you might have remembered. Hold on. There's the centrifuge, there's the wheel, that was Liminal Land's solution to guest housing. See, they figured that they could keep your park longer if they provided accommodations to guests. So they built this fake neighborhood into the park. Tricky stuff, yeah. There's space over there. Too easy to get lost just trying to get back up to the surface. Why do you ask?
Can't be.
Remember Reno, but not the attractions. What kind of kid remembers that hotel, but not the park? Anyway,
Much appreciation.
what do you remember?
sorry. I'm sorry. Everyone!
You found your family, though, right? I mean, you're here. Obviously, you got out.
You got it! Wow! There!
Sure to tell you this, but it's a bit unnerving you experienced that in places.
Do
A
it!
lot of people went missing there, so I'd say you're one of the lucky few, but you might find some of the materials we're about to go over to be pretty disturbing. Some people aren't usually like they've faced danger in the past. Are you okay with continuing? You're looking kind of bad.
Stun beat blow!
Works for me. I think we've gotten as far as we're gonna get with the immersive method. I'm gonna do some real digging. That's to a simple narrative from all broken pieces, but goodness. The pieces were very, very broken. Nevertheless, I've drawn every source, trimmed every last link or website I could find, and I think I've done a decent job of putting the events in order. Subliminal Land begins long before its parent company, Charon, ever broke ground in Lake Valley. I mentioned that Subliminal Land was built on the pre-existing facility, Lake Valley Observations, or LVO.
Preparations complete!
What did this facility do, you might ask? To which I say, good question.
Here I go.
All we really know is that LVO was working on the production of quote-unquote clean energy. But what that really means, no one knows for certain. Related to nuclear power, certain portions of the facility were very dangerous due to constant reactions taking place inside it. But nothing specifically states that they're nuclear reactions, so I'll hold my tongue for the time being. It's assumed that LVO operations ceased by the end of 1973, as we have photos of the abandoned facility. These photos were likely taken by Charon during purchasing considerations, though we can't confirm that information as of yet.
Can't be.
What we do know for certain is that Charon decided to go through with the purchase, and the following year, they began to advertise the development of Liminal Land just off County Road B005. In 1975, Liminal Land saw its grand opening and welcomed its first guests to the park. Little is known about the attractions that the park maintained when it opened, but clearly, families loved it. In 1977, Liminal Land broke every attendance and guest satisfaction that it had seen previously. Part of that was the result of the introduction of the park's first experimental coaster, the aforementioned laugh track. While this year set new standards for the park, it was also the beginning of a disturbing trend. The first of many rides that clearly posed a danger to the patrons because of their contentment with the experience. The laugh track itself was suspected to cause asphyxiation, and in subsequent years, serpentine the hollow walls Liminal Land would be introduced or updated. We already covered the dangerous oversight plaguing serpentines arrived, but let's not forget about the hall. The maze promised that visitors were going to get lost, and at over 800,000 square feet, how could that possibly be safe? That's way too much floor space for park staff to cover when trying to assist injured or panicking guests. Don't even get me started on Subliminal Land. Think about what I just said to you a few minutes ago. Certain portions of the LVO facility were extremely dangerous to enter. Foremost among them was the hall. It's a room so poisoned by reactions that it was deadly just to step inside. And where, of all places, do you think that Charon decided to build Subliminal Land? Directly on top of the
Everyone!
was ultimately converted into the lowest floor of Subliminal Land. I'm not sure if the room continued to be as dangerous during Liminal Land's heyday, but I doubt Charon had the resources to make it habitable. I mean, we're talking about a private entity taking their first major venture. It was profit over responsibility, over safety, everything. It was so careless. There was no corner Charon wouldn't cut to get guests in the park and to keep them there. But that's the thing. At the end of the day, no one cared. Not even the guests. They all just let it happen. Why didn't they leave? I'm so sick of hitting the same wall. I don't know why they wouldn't leave. It wasn't there. You had to be there. It's just confusing. You know, the money angle doesn't make any sense. There's no profit in harming your guests. The whole project implodes without them, so why? Yeah, you're right. Thanks. In 1981, Harlem recognized they were sleeping on a gold mine. They had failed to capitalize on another one of LBO's most notable features, the massive underground housing development that they used to accommodate their researchers. See, when you're running a project as big as LBO out in the desert, you've got to provide some place out of the sun for people to stay. And what's more out of the sun than underground? So they started digging, and they dug for a long, long time, because the subterranean neighborhood that they built was way bigger than they needed for their scientists. It didn't make any sense for LBO, but it perfectly met the needs of Haron's ever-growing customer base. Plenty of guests were happy to shell out the big bucks for residency under the park, especially after Haron converted the entire facility into a 1970s-style neighborhood, complete with painted skies, plastic grass, and plaster trees. They called it the Holistic and Opportune Mutual Experience, or HOME. It was supposed to remove the need to ever leave Lake Valley.
Preparations
I go back
complete.
to the humdrum monotony of life when you've got food, fun, and shelter right here in that crisis. This home away from home became permanent in the others. Some of the most unsettling documents we have later accounts from those workers, such as this memo written by the head of maintenance. According to him, these long-term visitors were just saw the wrong way or so
Well.
each time the one of maintaining the stage of nowadays would be a little nearer.
Preparations complete.
Here goes! Super Shocker!
There. Preparations complete.
Very kind of you.
Ready to go.
Here I go! Sunshine beam!
Expansive megastructures is made of this issue.
Heck yeah!
I love it.
Prepare yourself, Poison Ivy! Sticker Blade!
Chapter 5 cycle. The visitor satisfaction training tank. The tank of an excellent state base. That's
Princess.
and all their training. You may have noticed that the one of these playing this tank needs a State user satisfaction training tank is for use to understand and identify visitors, spreads. The purpose of this was to keep guests engaged for long times on the meeting. So the state set up use and tamper with about 3 quarters through the video.
There. Ready to go.
The is
Here goes.
no clue
Stun
what
beam blow.
Some early viewers thought this said the park is AI, but you can clearly see that's an L. The most popular theory now is that it says the park is alive, but I'm not sure I agree with that either. To me, it looks to be a space between the A and L. I'm not enough to say that other people are wrong, but we need to keep an open mind about how we interpret this clue. I don't think it's been fully solved. The next video in the series comes to us from New Mexico State Police, and it includes the details I shared with you at the beginning of the video regarding the Lunar Land anomaly and the death of Maria Ramos in 1982.
I'm counting on you.
Maria's was the first recorded death at Lunar Land. The anomaly would soon claim the lives of two others, Lena Sorensen and Rick Ackerman. Lena was an elementary school teacher who visited the park on a field trip with her first grade class in 1980. She wanted to show the kids a good time and make it a special day for them, so she decided to take them to one of the park's newest attractions, the Paradise Playgrounds. There, she watched the children play with her. It's hard not to make their faces and smiles. She stood to the side, quietly appreciating their joy before slipping out of the playrooms for a meal. For 8 hours, the children explored the playrooms as if nothing was wrong. Lena was never seen alive again. Her broken body was found crumpled near the anomaly. Her jaw cracked, letting her mouth hang open what could loosely be called a smile. 4 years later, Rick Ackerman would visit the park with his wife and 3 children. At the earliest opportunity, Rick left his family behind to ride the anomaly alone.
Preparations complete.
Once again, Rick's deformed body was found with an unnatural
Take
grin
this.
spread across his face. Out of the tapes, this is the one that has always stuck with me the most. Something about the way it presents the information, it's so clinical, uncaring.
Here goes.
I can't help but think of a person in pain. It's hard to imagine the care that they have in class. Most kids never even noticed you guys. The next tape is the one that I've been most eager to show. You said you remembered it, right? Well, this tape is from inside the facility. Sort of. It starts out with an admittedly disturbing training video from Park. It gives employees plenty of questionable directives, such as remove any and all doors, windows, or thresholds that could potentially serve as an exit to the home entertainment area. This still happens. How are guests even meant to spend money in the park if they're sealed below it? That in and of itself is an investigation. The particular copy I have in my possession is something even more than so. 4.5 minutes into the video, the training tape stops, and it's replaced by footage of an unidentified individual wandering through home itself. Bright fluorescent lights hung far overhead to simulate a sunny day, and the walls are painted with natural imagery. It all comes together to create an uncanny scene.
Okay.
It fails at every level to simulate a typical American neighborhood. It's perverted by the presence of dowry concrete walls, metal scaffolding, and the overwhelming sense of inauthenticity. The video contains a scattering of text in addition to the found footage. The first message reads, "Do not follow strange sounds. Do not enter a stranger's home." The reporting clearly doesn't receive these warnings, however. He ventures deeper into one of the homes along Wall Street and finds that it's filled with a random assortment of furniture. While the interior may be furnished, it doesn't seem to be in
Sorry.
More text appears on screen. Never
Much
leave the
appreciated.
passage unblocked. Curiosity becomes
Everyone.
regret. The video shows a rundown part of the facility and a door with an orange glow below it.
There.
We can hear burning from behind the door and... Well, I think I just need to let you watch this for yourself.
Here goes. Stun beam blow.
I love it.
video cuts to our aspiring videographer while he's running deeper and deeper into hell. It becomes increasingly clear just how little the complex was intended to be used as housing, as there are miles upon miles of randomly constructed hallways and corridors. The man filming comes to a crossroads, and he's surrounded by exit signs of varying colors. Red, green, blue, and white. Another message displays 4 lines of text, each written in a color corresponding to the exit signs. Blue may never be true. Green, you'll never be seen. White may never be right. Red, you're already dead. Honestly, I only just noticed that the last word of each line rhymes with the color it's written in. I have no clue what that means, but it might become important as more tapes are uncovered. In any case, the tape cuts once more, and we see a sea of green signs. The man runs to what appears to be a way out, but we never see him escape. The final series of messages displays: those who seek departure will lose themselves. We hope you learn from others' mistakes. We hope you have a pleasant day here at Liminal Land. Something about this final message makes me think this footage hasn't been altered after all. It strikes me as though we're watching an example of what happens when someone steps out of line. Maybe the person we're seeing is a harmed employee who tried to abandon their job within home. In that sense, the whole thing really is a training tape. I was worried you might ask that, but I can't really talk about this without sounding like I've gone crazy, so... Some investigators have discovered evidence that suggests Sakuron may have been using Liminal Land as a front. Human sacrifice. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory rather than genuine investigative work, but the evidence is compelling. It all started when we managed to force our way onto a hidden page of the website. What we found was this. This bull-faced creature is Moloch, the ancient deity of the Canaanites. Moloch is thought to be a demon that appears as a bull-human hybrid, one which craves sacrifice. It's weird enough that this image appears on the website, but the ties with Liminal Land go a bit deeper than that. I mean, the park's mascot is a humanoid bull named Ollie. Ollie? Are you kidding me? They weren't even trying to be subtle about this. They put it right out in front of everyone, like no one would notice, and apparently they were right. It slipped right by everyone. The ties with Moloch also add some disturbing context to some of the evidence we found. The next tape, our final tape, is another document from the New Mexico State Police investigation. This tape gives us the details of the search for Angie Munoz, one of the missing people in the Channel 5 sign-off. Notably, we know the exact date that this tape was made, May 20th, 1987. Exactly 2 years before the incident at Liminal Land that shut everything down. Sophia Munoz, Angie's mother, insists that her daughter ran away in the middle of the night. But if that's the case, why did Angie run? In their hunt for the truth, the police came across a series of drawings by Angie that depicted an experience she had with someone, or something, that she called Mommy's friend. The story was so disquieting that police immediately initiated a manhunt for Sophia, but she was never found. The first drawing depicts Angie's mom, and, I'm gonna be honest, if my mom looked like that, I'd scream. We then learned that Angie's story centers around Liminal Land. Angie was initially excited about going to the park, but then her mother made her sad by taking her to a house with more houses inside of it. Presumably, this is referring to home. Angie must have been disappointed that they were going to the accommodations area, visiting the park's attractions. We then get this page that just says, but we can't make out what the last word says. It looks like the word was scratched out with a print. Maybe by Angie, but Why would she erase part of her own story? The next page tells us that Sophia was looking for a friend, but we don't know what that means exactly. The following drawing might once have elaborated on this point, but it's too covered up for us to decipher what it was. The words, "Follow me, it's okay," are written out. We then see a door, and Angie tells us that inside this door was the friend that they had been searching for. Sophia's friend appears to be a man with mole horns coming out of his head, a spitting image of Moloch. Did the two of them really have a run-in with some ancient demon from biblical times? I can't imagine that would have ended well. But considering Angie has been missing for almost 40 years, I suspect that it didn't. It's hard to say what would have compelled Sophia to take her daughter deep into home, but... the same as what? Solid point. Let's double check. The bull noises make me think that that must be the same door. It must have been. I think they did something terrible to Angie in that room. Considering the sound of the flames and the heat that you described earlier. The Canaanites believed that Moloch preferred burnt offerings. That's what it seems like. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and speculate. But it has to. Even in my dreams, it's right there taunting me. It's the reason none of this makes any sense. The first phrase I read when I began investigating, it comes to me in many forms. Wish you were here. Where were you when it happened? You had to be there. I had to be there. I wasn't. You were.
I'll put a couple points to my double train.
I just thought of something. What if you were there? That's not what I mean. I mean, you weren't there. None of us were. I think I've been looking at this all wrong. What if that phrase, "you had to be there," wasn't stopping my investigation? What if it had been the key all along? It's time to go over the final chapter in the Milan story, and to get a little bit more acquainted with the company behind it all. All we have is speculation. Despite all the investigators we've got working on this case, we've all been coming at things from the same. You and I have tried something new. We'll step out of line and try a new approach. Even if I turn out to be wrong, at least I'm adding another voice, another perspective to the investigation, and maybe that's what it takes to find the truth. Little Man's greatest mystery is in its final moments. Some projects slowly slip into obscurity. That was not the case with Holland's Park. May 20th, 1989, Holland's story ended abruptly and unceremoniously. For such a wildly successful venture, you would have expected news of the Luna Land incident to spread like wildfire. The thing is, mainstream media only ever acknowledged the incident on one occasion. The joy and laughter that once filled the park fell silent in an instant, but no one seemed to care. Firm details about that day are scarce, but it's rumored that the bodies of the victims remain in the park more than 34 years later. A grand monument to industry rising out of the desert and ornamented with corpses. Something happened on that day. Where were you when it happened? I wasn't there. Neither were you. Everyone who was at Liminal Land when it happened is gone. We've ignored the elephant in the room for long enough. See, while we discussed the park's ties to Moloch, there's another supernatural figure that's been hiding in the background this whole time. Harm himself. The company borrows its name from a being from Greek mythology. Charon had an important job. He was the ferryman that guided fallen souls across the river Styx, the vast mire that divided the land of mortals from the underworld. The spot on Charon's ferry granted one passage between worlds. Why did Charon, the company, choose to name themselves after this particular being? What was it meant to symbolize? Shh, that was rhetorical. I already have an answer. Years of working cold cases, but now it feels like my brain is on fire. Charon, the creature, was a liminal being. He offered a way for mankind to move from life to death. Without him, humanity would have no way to pass into the other side of eternity. No way to enter the afterlife. But on his ferry, there was a singular point of transition. A place between places. A liminal space. Charon, the company, must have felt that they were on a similar mission. Even their logo, the hourglass, is a symbol of the impermanence of man and our incessant march towards death. We've been running into dead ends this whole time because we assumed that Charon was operating as an ordinary company. We assumed they were after profit, but that never sat right with me. No, they've never been concerned with money. Too much of what went on in the park was ultimately unprofitable. I mean, endangering your own guests or trapping them inside underground facilities. Guests can't spend money if they're dead and buried. Profit wasn't an issue. From the very beginning, Charon wanted to create a place where you could lose yourself. Every single space in the park was designed to keep you in Liminal Land for as long as possible. They didn't care about money. They cared that you were there. That's the part I don't want to confront, personally. I'm not entirely sure that Charon was in the wrong. Look, you're right, that's obviously barbarian. But stick with me. This is by far my most speculative theory, but what's the point of going out on a limb if I won't see where it leads? I think that Charon was trying to grant its guests passage into the afterlife. And I think that Liminal Land was their ferry. The park itself was the boat that would carry people into some higher plane of existence. However, they must have run into two big issues. When the ferry set sail, it could only take those who were waiting for it at the park. And they didn't know when the ferry would set sail. That's why it was so important to keep people in the park. If the guests were stuck in Liminal Land, then of course they would be there when it happened. They waited for over a decade, biding their time and doing their best to create attractions that would keep guests lost inside the park until their voyage. That's what happened on May 19th. The ferry came and went along with all of its passengers, the Liminal Land park owners, to pass into the afterlife. You had to be there. I've still left questions. I have no clue how hard they were to do this. Maybe Moloch taught them. Maybe that's why they were making sacrifices to begin with. Maybe I'm wrong about everything, and maybe I just want things to have turned out alright for the people I've been looking for. It won't surprise me if this theory is proved wrong by the next document we uncover. But I'm not trying to figure it all out on my own. As I've said time and time again, there are countless other investigators to the challenge that liminal land poses. I just want to contribute to the search for truth. I'd rather be the one who finds it. That you're so on the wrong side of it. If Laura's motives really were altruistic, then you've lost everything. It's almost easier to think that they were evil because the alternative is so much worse. Otherwise, we got left behind. All because we weren't in the park when it happened. We're stuck in finitude, in mortality, in pain, and in suffering, and in misery. I think back to Liminal Land's original motto. Like the souls of the lost calling out to us on the far side of the river. I hear it. I wish you were here. I wish I was there too. I'm curmudgeon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I wanted to take a short, unscripted segment here just to kind of speak to you all in a little bit more personal way. The channel went absolutely crazy over the last couple of months, and I just had to say thank you. It didn't really feel right to try to thank you guys with my disembodied voice, so this is why I'm on camera. Just, you know, I want you guys to know how genuinely I mean it. Just, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for all the support. I also want to give a immense thanks to all of my team. Thank you, Open. Thank you, IDGA Funk. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Asha. And thank you, Tally. It's still kind of just crazy to me that people would even consider supporting the channel. But, I mean, I honestly don't have the words to express how grateful I am. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I made you proud of this video. I also want to take a moment here to thank the fan artists who have been doing fan art legend. It's been so much fun to get to see everything that you guys are doing with the character. I'm so glad you like him. If you are interested in submitting some fan art of your own, you can tag me on Instagram or Twitter. That's the best way to get in front of me and to ensure that I'm actually going to see it. But yeah, just thank you so much for all of the fan art. It's so cool. I mean, yeah, it's just awesome. You guys are awesome. So yeah, please show some support to these wonderful artists. And yeah, thank you guys so much for just supporting the channel and getting it where it's got. Anytime I post an update on like the subscriber count or something. The next tape in the series, Found Footage Home, takes us into the first-person perspective of someone likely to be either a disgruntled employee, private investigator, or a park-goer, into the bowels of home, Carlin's magnum opus of liminal land. For context, home, or the holistic and opportune mutual experience, is a titanic underground structure beneath not just liminal land, but the remains of the Lake Valley Observation Center, the aforementioned power plant, and the indeterminate sides of the state of New Mexico itself. Repurposed from the quarters that once housed plant workers, home blended 50s style with 80s style aesthetics, creating a picture-perfect representation of both the uncanny valley and familiar liminal spaces. As I mentioned earlier, not everyone shared the same sentiment that it generated homey vibes, but instead it itself. And also, it was something more than living quarters. A maze, labyrinth, or worse, a trap. In the video, We follow this person as they attempt to navigate the labyrinthine construct, either looking for a way out or something more specific. As they make their way around, phrases appear over the tape telling us to ignore strange noises, not to enter a stranger's home, and never leave passages unblocked, or our curiosity will become regret. I can see why. Venturing deeper in, they come across what seems to be both a non-living sector of home and a remnant of the old plan.
Wow.
The person approaches the door where an ethereal orange light and screams emanate from. Panicked, the person bolts off, but not before another set of phrases appear on the screen. Do not go in there. You'll never be seen, may never be right, and you are already dead. The exit, though found, seems to be blocked by some strange material, and whatever was in that room seems to have finally caught up.
That's it. That's it.
Wow.
We are finally then told, those who seek departure will lose themselves. In the next video, the investigative tape Tommy's friend, we run into another familiar face, Angie Munoz, a girl in the missing persons broadcast. The video details her disappearance, and we come to find out what may be behind the entire park itself.
That's the one. Oops. Digimon. That's all she is. So we go. Well,
Do it! Preparations complete.
Okay.
Here I go. Frost blow.
You see, outside of this video and the found footage video, there's one other page I've been waiting to mention on Limited Land's website. If you go to Investigations, you'll find yourself needing a password to gain access. After some research, the password has changed, but while it was up, if you put right passage in, you get this image. Carl, what have you done? The figure in the picture is a Canaanite deity, Moloch, a being steeped in power and child
Ready
sacrifice.
to launch.
Looking back at images of the park's mascot,
Launching
the
cross-arm.
home found footage, and Mommy's friend, we can find its influence has been overbearing from the beginning. In Home, the video depicts a locked room and strange noises emanating from it. Two things to note. Outside the door, you can see the words C-Block and Charon. Charon, they can understand, as they would brand anything in the park they can get their festering hands on. What you might not know is that C-Block stands for something very specific. We'll be getting into that in a second. We hear what sounds like almost a bull bellowing. In most depictions, Moloch is a minotaur, a great monstrosity consisting of half man, half bull, and is a curse from the gods. In Mommy's Friend, the story that little Angie drew depicts a horned figure with several slots in its torso. This is undeniably the same depiction of Moloch in the Rite of Passage post. So, what exactly does Moloch have to do with Carmen and Limited Land and all? Here's what we can figure so far. Moloch is a symbol of power requiring great sacrifice. Carl takes his namesake to every cycle, a very good shuttling lost souls between worlds. Sounding familiar yet?
How fun.
As the end of the found footage reel states, as well as the literal slogan of Limited Land, getting lost is an overarching theme within the series. And Carlin is the vessel that will transit these lost souls right to Moloch, who, in this form, has now weaponized everything about your childhood that you held sacred, those comforting spaces, images of childhood innocence, have been eviscerated and reformed into nothing more than deadly emotional traps. Fallout now has both the metaphysical and the reactive force to keep it all going. By design, Carl, and mostly Fallout now, have used these ideas and concepts, such as liminal space,
That one.
childhood nostalgia, and the like, to turn liminal land into something more than just a theme park.
Here goes! Stun beat blow!
I said and keep saying that C-block was of importance. In power plants, C-blocks are generally considered containment blocks or containment areas. I had a feeling when I researched this that clean energy wasn't just some nondescript form of energy, but something else entirely. The door in C-block of home wasn't a door to be opened, it was holding something inside. With all of this in mind, I've drawn 3 theories up. Theory number 1. This is just a run-of-the-mill corporate entity with cult ties that found the perfect site to summon an ancient deity, barter a deal, and give it an endless supply of sacrifice in the name of profitable gains. 2. They knew this was a site that had enough power to summon, imprison it, and use its powers for the same reason I just mentioned, which doesn't make as much sense as both the first theory and the one I'm going to propose. One that, the more I watch this series, the more I'm believing this to be the case.
Counting on you.
The Carl Corporation and their ties to Moloch go back longer than we can know, and they needed a proper slot in their rituals. The Lake Valley Observation Center was the ideal location. However, in the process, something went horribly awry, leading the park to not just being a place where Moloch resides, but the park being itself. Or at least an avatar of Moloch. Somewhere along the way, the ritual went wrong, and Carl has done everything to mitigate the damage, but to no avail, leading the park to be completely abandoned. It's still alive, and it looks that it resides, awaiting more sacrifice and influence. In turn, the sacrifices and the operating reactor both fuel Moloch's existence, allowing it to constantly shift the park to its will. The only question remaining unanswered is not a matter of an if, but when Liminal Land will reopen its doors. All in all, I found this ARG to be one of the most greatly created and fascinating series in the niche, and I hope that its creators, who have very much outdone themselves with both storytelling and fan service in our perverse internet horror society, continue to allow us to uncover this mystery. If you guys liked this video and hung with us till the end, let me know what you thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on what you think about the series and the theories I've come up with. Until next time, grab a souvenir at the shop, pick up your picture at the Laugh Tracks kiosk, and stay weird.
So season 4 has just wrapped up, and by the time this video releases, we'll be into season 5, which features more trial environments and a new and very cool time asset. And yeah, now I purposely held off on doing a little video going on season 3, as it wasn't a particular one.
It's not very often that YouTube comes in handy with their video recommendations, but every so often, a new or obscure channel finds its way through the cracks and dodges whatever janky algorithm they employ.
There!
Not to show you tonight. Absolutely fits that description.
Stun beat blow!
Imagine Euro Truck.
Ready to go.
But instead of the vast frontiers of dense forests and barren deserts, it's the digital landscape of the internet that becomes the path in which you tread. An endless highway of information, entertainment, and thrilling mystery exists along this track, and it should go without saying that it's not without merit.
Downward clean.
In the distance, roll the slog, brain rot, and humanity-lacking substance.
Here goes.
You spotted
Donkey flow.
Can't breathe.
its airy glow seeps through the darkness, consuming you.
Icicle Rod!
The nostalgic hum of childhood peace and blissful ignorance brings you back to a simpler time. Internet checkpoints or bonfires as I've been calling them, relatively set to the web. These safe spaces combine upfront aesthetics, liminal imagery, retro game music, and dream-like soundscapes to create a place of solace. Those who can reflect and reminisce, pondering life away from the cold grip of reality. There is, however, one channel in particular that has made its rounds through YouTube that I think we need to take a look into. Behind the presence of longing, empty places, and peaceful dissonance, there seems to be something purposefully.
Do it!
And tonight, you and I will fling to figure out just what the hell is going on with the channel known as Secret.
Ready to launch.
Here goes! Donkey flow!
I understand this. Let's go back a little bit, shall we?
Crystal flow!
Years ago, a channel by the name of 777 gained some traction over a video that, well,
Here goes!
kind of just appeared.
Donkey flow!
The content, though lacking in description, reason, or time, resonated with those who first watched it. The imagery and soundtrack were unmistakable. It was that of Donkey Kong Country 2's Sticker Brush Symphony.
Icicle Rod!
That I can only imagine what emotions from others.
Crystal
The
flow!
less unique is the video, however. People flock to the comments section of Times Video, posting life events and venting turbulent personal situations, usually beginning their comments with the word checkpoint. A checkpoint,
Now,
dates, events, words of encouragement, formatted in a way of a save file or, like I mentioned before, a fire lantern similar to games like Dark Souls and saving their progress, like a game protagonist. And thus, the phrase checkpoint came into existence.
Very well.
And like all things,
Roger that.
grew, evolving into things relevant to that time.
Downward clean!
Really concerned about a new and rare alien-like virus that
You're into the breath drain!
the road of there's World Health Organization.
I am bringing in a regular
Very well.
In line.
Roger that.
Get ready!
It's a time of isolation, grief, sorrow, social and life brings to a halt. Everything that was normal and routine simply ceases and seems like eternity. In the doom and gloom surrounding another only grows in popularity.
There. Do it. You got it. Ready to go. Go!
Here goes.
Liminality, or liminal, more specifically liminal spaces in this case, began storing the internet through photos, music, video games, and even stories and creepypastas. The blend of childhood nostalgia and phobia resonated with the times, using empty, familiar places that should normally be populated, but otherwise are cold, alien, and empty. The general consensus of the internet was divided. Some felt dread within the genre, as if it was a place that you shouldn't be, while others felt a sense of calm, as if longing to be there. A distant, fading memory that can only be satisfied by something like this. Naturally, this found its way into YouTube and the idea of internet checkpoints.
Very well.
In these channels, many nameless they began to appear or be suggested around YouTube on Taya's original video. One could also say that there was an unnerving factor in these YouTube comments that emerged that Taya's originally lacked, but they all had the same effect, the same comments. What happens when the channel finds you?
I'm sorry.
A year ago, I can remember
Everyone.
a channel by the name of somebody just randomly popping up in my recommended video feed. At first, I thought there's really nothing to it. It wasn't until I started looking for topics for my last Dark Entries video that I revisited the channel. And honestly, I'm glad I didn't put it into Dark Entries, because upon further inspection, there might be something more to this, and I think personally it's more deserving of a full video, rather than just a 10-minute slot. On the surface, sure, you can tell that there may be nothing else to it, that it's just another DreamWorks art project. But if you look over it minutely, you start seeing something strange there. There's a total of 17 videos, the longest being a little over 3 minutes, and I'm going to take you through most of these, parse through them, and see if there's more to this than just another internet checkpoint.
Here goes.
Also, before we go into this, for the sake of clarity, since none of these videos have titles, we'll just be referring to them as tapes.
Ready to go.
So, let's dive in, shall we? Starting with tapes, we become familiar with the overarching imagery regarding the channel. A statue page, and forest, VHS filters, and dreamlike music. And, well, that's kinda it.
You're in big trouble,
This is one of 3 important things to remember about this channel going forward. First, the religious imagery that's reminiscent of the Mandela Effect is something we will come back to later. Second, on that note, being an antlock horror enthusiast, I was expecting some type of sting or jump scare,
Ready to
but
launch.
nothing ever came. No mood shift, no abrupt silence,
Here goes.
nothing.
Stun beam blow.
Personally, I think it's part of the power of these types of videos, and it's the relationship between the tension and odd comfort. It really resonates with a specific quote found repeatedly in every video's comment section. Art should comfort the disturbed, and disturb the comfortable. Also, it's made of something we addressed earlier. It's my third thing now, that if you look at the comment section, the same comments you'd find in Taya's video are ever present, giving the impression that this is in fact another
Do it.
intervention.
Do it. There.
They take hold of different
There.
images
You got
of
it.
the same motif,
There.
but much more somber.
There.
It's depression personified in the video. It's a feeling both relate to in some way, shape, or form.
There.
And after
There.
reading the comments, there's
There.
one particular comment,
Do it.
music,
Preparations complete.
stood out to me. As you gaze over the city, you wonder how the apocalypse could be so lovely. It might be nothing, it might be important later. We'll have to see. But for now, let's keep going. The team's there's a definite shift, where some may find floating sensations in this. How would it feel as if there's something that's just wrong here? Even now, as I edit this video, I can't believe, and it for sure reads the I've dreamt this before feeling.
Heck yeah!
The music certainly doesn't help either. As we progress, I keep coming back to that. I can't help but feel that this channel is subtly mimicking and weaponizing familiarity. And no, this doesn't make me feel fantastic. Hey. As much as somebody probably wants me to feel that.
Oh, come on, don't look at me like that. It's not worse than it normally is.
Get ready! Downward clean!
A different club. No, kid, he's talking about me.
You're
This
right.
is what you would like. You would think we'd all upgrade that, like, they could really figure out, like, the drainage situation. But, you know, I get it. You know, maybe it's a failure of American infrastructure. We'll fix it. No, don't. Well, John goes, I would begin at the beginning. That seems like the greatest place to begin at.
Roger that.
And then you begin with the feet.
Downward clean!
Now, you have more states that have certain types of junk food from SNAP. Now, I understand that you want people to be healthier, and I can stand behind that myself, but do you really think that people on hard times are the ones you should be going after? Yeah, because the ones who aren't on hard times can afford those
There. There.
That's right, kid.
Do it.
Oh, no, you need to backpedal
There.
with that one, alright? Because previously everyone said that just Americans are fat. So when I make decisions to make Americans less fat, that's not considered okay. Okay, hold on. Let me get the rules. I'll say this. Then when they pay their own bills, they can decide to eat whatever the fuck they want. When American taxpayers pay their bills, American taxpayers pay what the fuck they eat. You get the raw materials. You get milk, cheese, meat. You gotta cook all that shit yourself. No fucking things grows for you. And plus, we in America are people who are broke, poor, haven't had a job in quite a long time, also fat. And like, you don't realize how strange that is. Travel the world and see poor people in other countries. They're emaciated. They're starving to death. It's wild. And then you see poor people in the U.S. fat as fuck with their own bottle food. I have no sympathy for this situation. Very well. Those people from multiple different countries. They just have to, show the 5 years of this social media access to be able to things. Be careful when visions move in years. That shit ain't fair though. That's not fair thing, but again, I don't think you guys have bad like that. I'm gonna put up with it in the game. I want to make sure everybody's just getting encouraged. That's what I need.
that's how you're still getting money. You, owners, the advanced, are still getting money for your war machine. You sell it to countries that are already sanctioned by the US, so that's just how you get it. You could really use some more weapons and missiles, though. Like, that's... Sam, please. Look, everything is for sale, but when we're talking about charity, we're gonna have to see if there's any room in the budget for it. Budget? You just signed the world's largest defense budget. $900 billion.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we have room for extra shit. That's kind of just us. That's, that's probably why when we meet with somebody, it's kind of like
Preparations
we're
complete.
news. But for you, no one really gives a shit because you're a single with your former self.
Now it's my turn. Darkness, wait!
Yeah, I was speaking of budget, there's a few things that I want to look at. We get pretty much an entirely new guns. I'm getting new engines. I just look at the outside's gonna look the same on me, but, you know, I really could go for my tail guns back. Like, I only have more area or kills than the kid. Sorry, kid. But, I would like a few more. Just because. Look, it isn't without its drawbacks. I still got a fucking suppository of an anti-radiation missile in Desert Storm. Man, it's not on
The idea of tail gunners for you is outdated and kind of pointless. Things like that. At least not this.
So with flat-screen TVs, maybe some, high-speed fucking hypersonic missiles. Let's get the Mako online. I wouldn't mind it stealth coding. Maybe some elevation changes. Can we get some, torpedoes and, you know what? Scratch all that. Can we give the kid an intercept? I feel like he's gonna be a changed man once he gets here. I can't just magically give him an intercept. I can't just... I can't. That's training, and he's done that before. He's taken out drones and all sorts of other shit.
Downward creep!
Let's get the F-15 new cowboy boots out.
Now it's my turn. Darkness, wait!
We don't know what... Fucking give him some V-Bucks from Fortnite or something. I don't know.
You know, at first I thought Grandpa Buff was chaotic neutral, but as I grow, he definitely chaotic good.
You don't know how of it. I love doing good shit, but for all the wrong reasons. Like example, if I had a time machine, I would go back in time and stop the slave trade. Why would I do that? Not because I think slavery's bad, but just because I don't want to get black people in the U.S. bitch 200 years later.
Well, then no, let's do anything we can to fucking change the subject. You can get out of here or something. Your Secretary of State, I believe he is, Marco Rubio, is changing the plot from Calibri back to Times New Roman. And he said it's because it was a woke policy of Joe Biden.
I didn't know the gays couldn't read Times New Roman. Something new every day.
A large portion of me at this point in time is I feel like this administration is just doing whatever they possibly can to make a headline because they find it funny. You're probably not wrong, nerd. I feel like they'll do anything at this point to just separate themselves from any kind of, quote, woke ideology. Anything that they can possibly assume is gay or pro-trans or anything, they're just changing it just for the hell of it. And it's, oh, what a wild list.
There! Do it! There!
Oh, well,
There! You got it! Do it!
oh. No. DC Cook. Fucking let him
That
go.
way!
Darpa, do
Ready
we
to
have
launch.
anything cool built before I take this small little vacation? We're
Take this!
starting a competition. People try and create the lightest drone possible. And our goal is a drone being able to carry 4 times its own weight.
Wait. Vacation. What the hell are you doing?
Darkness,
Well,
wait!
never. Well, I've just taken a couple of days off, and I figured I would have to announce this in my videos, because anytime I go a couple of days, people start getting concerned. It's okay, this was all planned ahead of time. But between 3 HLCs,
Dundee,
2 HLCs near mine's a month. Kind of consensuous month. 1 habitually fat a month, and now 2. 1 what ifs a month, plus my Friday night streams. That's a lot to do, so just taking a couple of days off, so if you don't see any videos from me for a couple of days, this is
Darkness
and it
away!
also means that we gotta kind of finish with the bang. So, the elephant in the room. I've been waiting for this. So, it was me and the
Attract Echo!
So you seized the tanker. Have and fill that trimmed its
Heck yeah!
fire.
That shit, man.
Red Strain!
In the Red Sea. Hang on, I gotta think of Wiz business to prove that.
Roger that.
Here, Brad. Yes, wait, no.
Get ready! Downward cleave!
Shut up.
There's a lot more suits and red tape that have sanctions involved, and this was going between two different countries that I've sanctioned. It's
Attract Echo! Heck yeah!
You're real thing. For the record, a couple weeks ago when I made that joke that if the boats were
Roger that.
and not drugs, that we would be seizing them instead of destroying them, I didn't think it was actually going to happen. Although, there's a valid reason why it's happening. It's a bit of an environmental disaster if you strike a boat full of crude oil. Greenpeace gets all mad about that shit, but whatever. And that gives you the right to take an entire oil tanker. Did you see my dudes at work, though? Fast roping onto the deck, taking everything. It was pretty hot. And besides, the opposition, the Machado, whatever, you can help her for years, now got her out of the country. And she said she will return there and restore
You got it.
democracy to Venezuela.
You got it.
We're all
There.
yeah,
Do it.
we're all about democracy. Just because whoever on your side has a Nobel Peace Prize doesn't mean you're always on the right side.
Darkness away!
Yeah, it's like that whole, Hitler was Person of the Year in Time Magazine in like the 1920s or something. Sometimes they're right.
Are you okay?
They didn't. Evil fascist dictators, they were right. Right?
Sure. Since you said this video needs to end with a bang, I'm gonna try and list off as many random douche slurs that I can come up with for the people of Venezuela.
No, Bob, don't. We can end the video right here.
Are you okay?
Not too late if we start reading stuff with the ones you already know. Guacamole gangsters, jungle Mexicans.
HLC, you can go ahead and hit the stop button anytime you want, bro.
Crystal Cloud.
Jungle tacticians, salsa soldiers,
Launching
planting
cruiser.
pirates, although you can also use that for Puerto Ricans. Little God help. Northern computers, the Arepa assholes. I think I pronounced that food right. Where's the power cable?
Downward cleave!
I see here. Lost my train of thought. The flamboyant fentanyls. The cheaters, which is a conjunction of jungle and beer. And to finish it, we have cocaine snorting
Roger that.
swamp mix. Yeah, you feel free.
Downward cleave! Oh yeah!
As much as somebody probably wants me to feel that, it doesn't. It's also worth noting that many were commenting on that video, Tape 04, that there may be some similarities between this channel and another channel. We'll come back to that. Of the next 4 videos, 3 to me really stand out. The first one is an image of a glowing man and a woman holding an infant, uncanny houses that defy all logic, and a snowy plain under a blood-red sky. Something about those last 2 really capture the weird dream or nightmare I had as a child vibe perfectly, but it doesn't help us understand much. But this one, Tape 08,
There.
point where I started asking whether or not this was some
You got
random
it.
stunt.
Do it.
The first major clue that this
Do it.
was, in fact, an
There.
ARP.
There.
We find ourselves in a dark, lifeless grocery store, illuminated only by the cold display. Strange dust
That one.
particles or glowing orbs or something similar to that dance across the screen. Video descriptions on this display.
This weekend safety brief. Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. Don't end up in the hospital, newspaper, jail. If you end up in jail, establish dominance quickly. Have a good weekend. This weekend safety brief. Don't add to the population.
Don't add to the population.
Don't subtract from
Don't subtract from
the
population.
population. Don't end up in the hospital, newspaper, jail. If you end up in jail, establish dominance quickly. Have a good weekend. This weekend safety brief. Don't add to the population. Don't subtract from the population. Don't end up in the hospital, newspaper, or jail. If you end up in jail, establish dominance quickly. Have a good
Stun beat blow!
You've already saw it, right? Valerie said you're some kind of time traveler.
Yeah, let me tell you about the future.
Crystal
Yeah,
Fly.
you're quite dead.
Get ready! Downward cleave!
Can't wait.
Now, magic this potent is expensive.
If you need to absorb my special abilities, I'm here and
Thanks, but I can't think of a scenario where you need to talk to squirrels. Please.
don't know me. Stun beat blow!
I was scared of
What happens if you face the tallest man in the world? This target is certainly the most iconic in the game. He stands over 2.2 meters tall, and has so far managed to crush every one of his opponents in a matter of seconds. 247 is a stealth assassin, so you can climb onto the scaffolding above the arena. If you steal his opponent's outfit, you can step in and fight for yourself. And after completing several QTEs in a row, Agent 47 will manage to eliminate him in front of thousands of people. What happens if you face the tallest man in the world barehanded in Hitman Absolution? This target is certainly the most iconic in the game. He stands over 2.2 meters tall, and has so far managed to crush every one of his opponents in a matter of seconds. Agent 47 is a stealth assassin, so you can climb onto the scaffolding above the arena and unscrew the giant lighting rig, making it crash down on Sanchez. And if you steal his opponent's outfit, you can step into the cage and fight him yourself. And after completing several QTEs in a row, Agent 47 managed to eliminate him in front of thousands of people. What happened to the
Shirai you hopeless. Easy, kid. I go where I please.
There.
The Shirai you hopeless.
There.
Easy, kid.
Ready to
I
go.
go where I please. Traitor. Shot call. General Protov Khan. Come. Pathetic. You pretend to run. It is life, my right hand deal. Kill.
Darkness waits!
Now, it is the things. In one chief, we are decades beyond those events. For us, they happen only fools.
Take this.
is an illusion. It is only illusion. Is it possible?
Can't read.
Heck yeah!
Constant custom requires all refugees be offered assistance. I offer it shall come. I am in the power. I take my leave from somebody sends me.
Well, what do we have here? Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this. And who are you?
Now it's my turn. Darkness away!
Get out! Vegeta, why are you wearing that musty-ass wig? Long hair is not your style. Okay, I get it, same hairline, but I'm like a foot taller than that guy. Nappa, I never knew that you looked like that with long hair. You are better off bald. Don't you ever compare me to that jacked-up knockoff Mr. Clean. Turles, right?
Roger that.
The first villain in Dragon Ball Z, the one who introduced Saiyans into the story. The direct blood relative of the main f***ing character. Don't worry about it, man. They forget who I am all the time. Then again, Bulma's a genius. Bulma, what's my name? Turbo and Turbo. Wait, she said it right? Finally! Somebody said my name right. Long-haired guy, can you remind me what your name was again? Rex. Got it, Rise. And the Raditz that kidnapped and physically abused my 4-year-old son? Uncle Raditz was just toughening him up. Well, I've been waiting a long time for this one. And who are you? You mean that you don't remember the Saiyan that pulled up to your world and nearly wiped it out? Vegeta, why are you wearing that musty costume? Here is not your style. Hey, I didn't say hairline, but I'm like a foot taller than that guy. Nappa, you look like that with long hair. I think you were better off bald. Don't you ever compare me to that jacked-up knockoff.
Roger that.
The first villain in Dragon Ball Z, the one who introduced Saiyan to the story. The direct blood relative of the... Don't worry about it, man. It's who I am all the time. Then again, Bulma's a genius. Bulma, what's my name? Turbo and Turbo. Wait, she said it right? Finally, somebody said my name right. Long-haired guy, can you remind me what your name was again? Raditz. Got it memorized. And the Raditz that kidnapped and physically abused my 4-year-old son? Uncle Raditz was just toughening him up.
Uncle Raditz about to get his dad
Over
for
there,
it.
Chuck.
Did you know what the Homelander fail animations look like in MK1? Starting with this finish that, honestly, I have no idea which character it belongs to. So let me know in the comments. Next, if the attempt fails, Kung Lao simply cuts his head off instantly. In the following fail, it is Kenshi who uses his sword and slices Homelander in half. The next one is Johnny Cage, who grabs his actor trophy and performs an incredible fatality. Stryker also appears even as a cameo, exploding him with a bazooka. In the next fail, Kitana delivers a sequence of creative hits using her fan. Failing again, Nightwolf unleashes a rain of arrows, finishing with an axe strike to the head. And finally, Scorpion performs his classic fatality, Get Over Here. Just gonna act like... Stone, the next... Till this point had at least given us info on the audio tracks used, but in this one, we're only given a series of question marks, which further amplifies the unnerving mystery.
Can't be.
It's nice to know now at least we're not alone in the grocery store. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to be, nor am I trying to jump to conclusions. But I immediately thought to myself that this looked exactly like the operator from Marvel Hornets.
The second DLC for Digimon Storytime should include 5 mega Digimon to the game, including Omnimon, Burstful Mode, Mutual Lila Mode, Jousting Mode, Bancho Beam, and Bancho Mummy Mode. Details on the DLC, check this video.
From Marvel Hornets. It could just be a nice little Easter egg, but with very little information about this.
I'm counting on you.
Yeah. Good work. Well done.
Roger that.
Toxic.
Now it's my turn. Darkness, wait!
Find out the nature wants you to find and stop them before you reach another tower city. It's not kill it. Sounds like
There!
I saw a whole comment on the Pennywise video of people saying that Pennywise just has to use the deadlights, and that he pretty much can 1v1 anything in Warhammer 40k, and I'm going to say something that you're probably not going to like. Pennywise is closer to a low-tier demon than an actual world-ending threat. In the video, I basically have Pennywise wakes up on Holy Terra, which is Earth in the 41st millennium. That is the most secure location in all of humanity's ever-expanding and collapsing imperium. Now, let's say Pennywise was unlucky enough to wake up anywhere near Holy Terra's Holy Palace. He would be eviscerated in seconds, because he would have to contend with custodians and Sisters of Silence. And some semblance of psychic defense, but they mainly just don't give a fuck. But Sisters of Silence, these guys are psychic defense. They nullify any psychic energy that is from near them. And Pennywise, no matter how much you want to argue, is a psychic being. And the simple truth is, even if Pennywise spawned on a planet other than Terra, he would get 1v1 by most demons from the war. In the present day, Pennywise is an actor.
The question after that happened is, in the 2005 Royal Rumble, why was the only person to get injured from that spot Vince McMahon?
Good. It's nothing. Soon you'll be all
Jeez, what an ego. It's fun, exactly.
Let's quick win and a killer raid, huh?
See. So, watch it.
You're so convinced, I know.
How do you know what
You got it. Preparations complete.
It's nothing.
Take this!
Let's quick win and a killer raid, huh? Don't be so honest, I know.
That's where right. Journeys. And where's the agenda? Very unique. Very now. It's out of that. Oh, sure. You must have been right off. If you will be.
There.
And a water coming.
I'm sorry.
It's the boat. Run. I have no plan for this, but Lord, what are you doing?
Much appreciated. Everyone. Do it!
Perhaps many people wonder if sea turtles feel pain when humans remove barnacles from their shells. They do. Although a turtle's shell is thick and hard, it is full of nerves and blood vessels underneath, so even a gentle touch can be felt. When conservation workers use tools to pry off those stubborn barnacles, nature's strongest glue, turtles do experience discomfort. Surprisingly, even though the process is painful, turtles rarely struggle. They understand that enduring it will free them from this torment. These tiny barnacles not only cause unbearable itching, but also limit growth, drain nutrients, becoming a lifelong burden for many marine animals. Female crabs, for instance, move slowly and even have trouble eating when covered in barnacles. Barnacles are far from mere decorations. In the Pengu waters, they are called underwater parasitic demons. Once attached, whether on turtles or whales, they relentless itching, restrict movement, reduce appetite, and in severe cases, can even cause starvation. So what is the purpose of these barnacles? Perhaps many
How fun. Good.
Skill set for us. What? You're just running from me in fear.
That man died when Zeus unmasked you.
And yet I still deposed him.
You let me live and look what happened.
That's on you, not me.
Keep telling yourself that. We're two sides of the same coin.
How's that, Scarecrow?
Use fear as a weapon. Watching you.
What happened far was tragic.
Much appreciation. Everyone! That one!
I don't want to look in there, sir.
Hold it is, I'll just stick my head right in. Half a dozen eggs. Really, complete doesn't it? I'd rather attempt fate, I'll go on now. So we reach the bottom of the barrel. Else than months. Cold, hard process of inflation plays of the ancient. Rarely in your locker. Damn! Principal hurry the midst of the goods. Well, sir, who is home now?
He's got What's now thinking
Alright, then there's our Strategies like first achievement in Digimon Time Stranger. Story spoilers, by the way. In Digimon Story Time Stranger, one of the unlocks you get from beating the entire game is the Mega Plus difficulty set. This will allow you to go into New Game Plus and go through the entirety of the story again, but everything is significantly stronger. Now, other than to re-experience the story again or gather more Digimon materials, if you were going for a challenge playthrough, then Mega Plus is absolutely down your lane. The enemies are insanely strong, but what's really rough is that the final achievement that you need for the 100% is that you need to beat New Game Plus in Mega Plus difficulty. Now, this is an insanely hard challenge because some beginner enemies will now be much more stronger than before. And if your team isn't maxed out with full stats and load enhancements, then your entire team will be wiped. But since the game allows you to change difficulty, you can actually play through the entirety of New Game Plus on story mode difficulty, meaning everything will be basically one shot, but then for the final fight, you can fight Chronomon in Mega Plus. And that will still give you the achievement, but even if you do this cheese, the fight is still really hard, so I do recommend a team of maxed out stats, all healing moves, and an Apocalypon for the best results. This is no one in Resident Evil believes they're the main character, Harder
Do it.
and Wesker. In Resident Evil 0, he's already double-crossing Umbrella and Stars before the first mention.
Now it's my turn.
He decides our heroes are just background NPCs in his story. Resident Evil 1, he betrays his team, unleashes a tyrant, and gets killed. But he treats it like a season finale cliffhanger, since in Umbrella Chronicles he respawns, fights Lisa Trevor, and leaves her and the mansion behind like filler episodes. In Code Veronica X, he returns buffer, faster, and anime. Chris Redfield learns his nemesis rebuilt his build while he wasn't looking. He steals a corpse and promises a dramatic rematch. In Lost in Nightmares, Umbrella's founder, Oswald Spencer, reveals that Albert was created as part of the elite Wesker children. Wesker then kills him on the spot. Thanks for the lore drop, old man. Resident Evil 4 gives him a bit of a break. He isn't even in the same hemisphere, but he's still managing the plot for Ada like the world's most evil supervillains. By Resident Evil 5 is full God complex unlocks. Kidnapping, teleporting, monologuing,
Here goes.
saturation. He punches a boulder, Wesker punches a missile, then gets volcano blasted for being dramatic, finally destroying him for good. But here's the twist. Wesker wasn't the only chosen. Alex Wesker, the other golden child Spencer engineered, seemingly survives her own death witnessed by Chris's sister Claire, and returns in the mind of a child. You gotta play it. And Jake Wesker, born with immunity in his blood, literally saves the world from the sea virus. Wesker's legacy finally cleans up his mess. Albert Wesker spent his whole life trying to be the star, working from the shadows, wearing sunglasses at night, but maybe the Wesker family was the real anchor of Resident Evil.
Darkness, wait!
No one in Resident Evil believes they're the main character, Harder than Albert Wesker. In Resident Evil 0, he's already double-crossing Umbrella and Stars before the first mansion door opens. He decides our heroes are just background NPCs in his. Resident Evil 1, he betrays his team, unleashes a tyrant, and gets killed. But he treats it like a season finale cliffhanger, since in Umbrella Chronicles he respawns, fights Lisa Trevor, and leaves her and the mansion behind like filler episodes. In Code Veronica X, he returns buffer, faster, and anime. Chris Redfield learns his nemesis rebuilt his build. He steals her corpse and promises a dramatic rematch. In Lost in Nightmares, Umbrella's founder, Oswald Spencer, reveals that Albert was created as part of the elite Wesker children. Wesker then kills him on the spot. Thanks for the lore drop, old man. Resident Evil 4 gives him a bit of a break. He isn't even in the same hemisphere, but he's still managing the plot for Ada like the world's most evil supervillains. By Resident Evil 5, his full God complex unlocks. Kidnapping, teleporting, monologuing, complete global saturation. Chris punches a boulder, Wesker punches a missile, then gets volcano blasted for being dramatic, finally destroying him for good. But here's the twist. Wesker wasn't the only chosen. Alex Wesker, the other golden child Spencer engineered, seemingly survives her own death witnessed by Chris's sister Claire, and returns in the mind of a child. You gotta play those. And Jake Wesker, born with immunity in his blood, literally saves the world from the sea virus. Wesker's legacy finally cleans up his mess. Albert Wesker spent his whole life trying to be...
That's Chan. It's hard to discern any sort of definitive theory.
There.
However, this doesn't feel like a random
Much appreciation.
but intentional. With tape 09, we jump back into some sense of normalcy within somebody, depicting another melancholic image with a Santa decoration, candy canes, and a Christmas tree. It's a reminder that some joyous memories may not be remembered as fondly. The next two tapes, tape 10 and tape 11, well, they have some really perplexing clues and oddities that stand out from what we've seen so far. Tape 10 takes us to a barren room with a TV mounted to a stanchion, and through the static, you can catch at various intervals a nondescript face alone with some pretty interesting messages. Sleeping hours. The rapture